The biggest problem that I face these days is deciding on what to eat. Every day, I have to think of what to eat, prepare the meal, eat the meal, and then wash up. And to me, that is like such a chore. And if I have to prepare the meal myself, it takes very long, at least an hour. And that's for like simple dishes, like a soup or just a pasta or noodles. If it involves more than one dish, then it can take up to 2 hours. I'm a very slow and lousy cook, and I just throw whatever ingredients that strike my fancy in the supermarket into the pot. It's usually just a one dish meal, and it can last me the whole day. I don't eat much these days. I usually have a very simple breakfast. It's usually a coffee or with a piece of bread, a bun or something. That's simple for breakfast. And then at about 10 a.m. I'll start cooking a one dish meal. It's usually just oats with some veggies or fruits, and then or noodles. Noodles can be soup noodles or fried noodles, or sometimes it will be pasta. And basically this one dish meal can last me for the whole day. I don't cook a lot. It's really just one portion for a normal person, okay? But this one portion, I can split it into like 3 times in a day. Okay. I'll probably eat once at 11 a.m. and then another one at 2 p.m. and then another time, and then another portion at 5 p.m. and that's it. The digestion is not too good, and the stomach is like getting smaller, so I can't eat a lot at one go. I can't finish like one bowl of noodles in one go, so I have to like split it across various times in the day. And I don't really like rice, except for Japanese rice. Japanese bento is something that I don't mind, and so I've stopped cooking rice. Most of the starch that I get is like oats and noodles. And so after preparing the meal, do you know how much work it takes to prepare a meal? You have to pluck the vegetables, clean the vegetables, soak them, and then wash them up, and then I have to chop onions and garlic, and then throw them into the pot. And the cooking takes me like 1 hour, and it is a very simple dish, and most of them are not very appetizing. I mean, they are edible, okay, but they are nothing to shout about. Okay, coloring is usually off. Okay, they usually look like a brown mess or a green mess, depending on what type of sauce that I'm using. I use very simple sauces. I like this pork python soup broth that is imported from Japan, but it's not too expensive, and it's quite easily available in the local supermarkets. Okay, then I'll have like different I like Japanese sauces. I have sesame sauce, and then there's miso too, And recently I bought this bottle of abalone sauce, cheap type. Okay. And then and of course chili sauce. Living in Southeast Asia is, I think it's almost a crime not to eat chili. Okay, of course that's just putting it a bit too seriously, but I like a little spice, and I like sambal chili. So how does it feel, you know, to make it, to be in such a situation where all I have to think about is just food? It's actually, it really is a blessing, because there are no worries. Okay, when you live a simple and worry-free life, you don't really have to think a lot or puzzle a lot, you know, or make a lot of effort to go after the things you want. When you are happy with simple things and only with just the needs and necessities in life, life is so free and worry free, and you're free from burdens. Yeah. And yet, you know, even just this food, if you're content with whatever you eat, you just have simple meals, you know, I mean, so long you fill your stomach, okay, you don't go hungry, and you don't get sick from the food, I think that's okay. Isn't that good enough? But a lot of people live to eat rather than eat to live. When you're practicing on the path of the Dhamma, it's better to just eat to live. That way, you know, you're not too focused on too much on the sensuous pleasures in life, and food is one of the sensual pleasures of life. Okay, because it involves so much of the senses. You smell the food, you look at the food, you taste it, there's texture, there's tactile contact, okay, and even when you hear the food being cooked, it can also create desire in you, and then, you know, then when you desire the food, the saliva glands are activated, and you anticipate the food. And how long does it take you to finish a meal? Oh, these days, people in urban cities, I see that they tend to eat their meals quite fast, you know. And in like fast-moving cities like Singapore, Hong Kong, Shanghai, you can just cut down their meals in like 10-15 minutes. And do they really enjoy the food that they're eating? You know, and eat the food mindfully? Or do you just look at the food, no, or you have your meal accompanied by the phone? You know, a lot of people are staring at their phones these days when having their meals, and that's so healthy. How are you focusing on the food? You're not being mindful. And after you finish eating it, do you remember the taste? No. It's just, it becomes a mindless endeavor. When you can focus on just having your meal, when you're eating it, slowly savoring it, being aware of all the sights, smell, sound that you make when eating, It is also a form of meditation practice. This is training mindfulness. Mindfulness is in everything, every act. So if you can try to be mindful while you are eating, that is already one step forward towards developing full mindfulness. Thank you for watching. Sukhi Hotu.